What is going on, YouTube people? Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics here to talk some baseball. That's right. I wanted to do this for a while, about actually the last week and a half or so, to dive in and look to see how the baseball offseason market is doing. We are heading into peak hot stove season as some deals have already gotten done, but we are also heading into strike season because there's probably there's gonna be labor problems. It's just a matter of how long it takes them to get it fixed and are games actually lost. My prediction is it's ugly, it's messy, but no games are actually lost. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. I am no labor union expert, but I am also curious as we move through this process and news gets crappier and crappier, bickering, do we see a decrease in baseball prices? So I was curious to see where a chunk of the baseball market was at during the normal times of the off season before we head into this little bit of rough spell before the ramp up to spring training. And does this mess up the normal run up to spring training? I don't know. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm using Market Movers a lot. Link in the description down below, along with coupon code if you want your own access to fancy charts and graphs. 20% off coupon code down below. I believe it is NEO, and there is a link to take you straight to the page. I am posting this the day before Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble, everybody. It is almost stuffing day. That's right. We are team stuffing over team turkey here in the NEO household. So I hope everyone has, if you celebrate, a wonderful Thanksgiving. Tonight, Wednesday night, I had to think for a second because I'm recording this on Tuesday. On Wednesday night, assuming nothing crazy happens, I will be live over on Sports Cards Anonymous YouTube channel. He's doing a little pre-Thanksgiving live stream. Myself and Flipping Steve are advertised, and then who knows who else may pop in to that mess. Knowing Dakota, and then none of us have to work the next day, we will probably be going for a long time, and probably some drinks will ensue. We shall see. With all that being said, let's go ahead and dive into some baseball chit chat. So what I have done today, I kind of like to lay out the parameters. I looked at a bunch of different key players, in my opinion, key players, mostly more of the modern types. I did look at Trout. We'll look at his stuff really quick, and I pulled a few prospects as well. The more mainstream prospects. I am not a baseball prospect guy. That is not my forte. So I just went with a couple there. And I ran the charts from October 1st through today. Yeah, that gets a little bit of playoffs, but it gets us out of the regular season shenanigans. So we're looking at like 6 to 7 weeks worth of charts, whatever that is. And I kept it consistent across the board. The other thing that I did for at least about 5 or 6 guys, I looked at their Bowman Chrome stuff, if they have autos or whatever, separately, and then their normal Topps Chrome refractors, pinks, prisms, X-fractors, all that jazz. So let's go ahead and dive in. Up first, favorite of the channel, Vladdy, one Mr. Vlad Guerrero Jr. And the first card we're going to look at is his first Bowman auto. Once again, went from October 1st all the way through the 23rd, recording this on Tuesday night. And for the purposes of first Bowmans, I looked at PSA 10, PSA 9, and BGS 9.5 due to the price point and the fact that these just don't sell very often in some cases. So I wanted to try to grab as much data as possible. In the case of Vlad, I couldn't find any PSA 10s that sold. I did find a couple PSA 9s and 7 BGS 9.5s. In general, down a little bit. The BGS 9.5, which I put the most stock in because it has the most sales, you can see across the board here, is only down about 20%. The PSA 9, only 2 sales, down 48%. So I like Vlad a lot. I actually don't like his first Bowman because his auto kind of sucks. This one's actually not terrible that they have here in the picture on Market Movers, but in general, Vlad's auto is not great. It's just not very eye appealing, and I would just rather go after other cards, even if that doesn't make a ton of sense. But it is what it is. So Vlad first Bowman in the BGS 9.5 down 20%, the 9 down a little harder, and no recorded sales of a 10. Let's flip over and compare that to his Topps Chrome. On the Topps Chrome side of things, we are looking at his base auto. Nothing too crazy there. Regular refractor, X-fractor, pink refractor, prism refractor, and base sapphire. I kind of stuck with these across the board as we work through the various different players. And what I'm just trying to get a sense for is a general feel for the player. So the first two things that jump out with me with Vlad here on his Topps Chrome product, and same date range as the Bowman Chrome auto. One, his higher end stuff seems to be down more. So we noticed the first Bowman auto was down 20% on his main rookie year stuff. We see his two most expensive ones are down the most. His rookie auto is down 16% and his sapphire is down 16%. So his two highest end cards, well, not highest end, there's definitely obviously things higher end than this. I didn't look at any numbered stuff or anything, but out of this subset of cards, his two most expensive ones are down the most. Everything in the middle has basically stayed about the same with a slight uptick in the X-fractor. His regular refractor is up 4%, X-fractor is up 13%, pink refractor is up 2%, and the prism refractor is down 4%. So essentially, that middle chunk of his cards basically stayed the same. I guess technically, actually, the X-fractor has now jumped the auto. That's interesting. What would you rather have? This auto in a PSA 10 or the X-fractor? They both have basically the same pop. The X-fractor is 233. The auto is 209. And as you can see in this picture here, this is what most of Vlad's autos look like. You can't really tell what it is, and they're almost always very, very streaky. So from a purely aesthetics perspective, I'd almost rather have the X-fractor. And if I was paying out of pocket, I would probably buy the X-fractor before the auto. You might call me crazy on that one, but that's just me. So Vlad's mid-end market holding steady, higher end market maybe down a little bit. Let's pop over and look at Fernando Tatis. Once again, first Bowman auto. I would really like to own one of these, but on the lookout for one for a hot minute. Hulk 181 will probably set back any larger purchases for me for the time being. But we looked at the PSA 10, the PSA 9, and the BGS 9.5. I really like to include BGS 9.5s on first Bowman autos because they are very popular to use for that, especially on these older years. More current years, I have a feeling that's going to flip. But on the older stuff, definitely want to include BGS 9.5 with whatever you're looking at to get a good data set. So here we see kind of a similar thing. Now, the PSA 9, one is not sold since October 6th. So, that kind of is what it is, but it was down about the same. PSA 10 down about 4%. PSA 9 down 20%, but once again, the note there, one is not sold in over a month. And then BGS 9.5, we do have actually the most sales data on, down 25%. So I'm going to run with the down 25% on the BGS 9.5 as kind of being the leading indicator because the BGS 9.5 kind of controls the market on these early first Bowmans. So in general, Fernando Tatis down about 25% on his Bowman Chrome autos. Now, on his Topps Chrome stuff, we are going to see a similar trend. And Tatis is one of the ones which I was a little surprised by. I wasn't super surprised by this because I have a couple Tatis cards in my collection on Market Movers, and I noticed that they were trending in the wrong direction. His stuff has taken a harder hit than a lot of the other guys that we're going to look at. I really don't know why. He's getting an offseason to get healthy. He was in the running for NL MVP and missed like a ton of time. He just had an absolutely amazing season, even though he missed like a month, I think. It was plagued by injuries throughout the season and still put up insane numbers. Spoiler alert, of the mid to high end guys, he's the one that I am most focused on buying a dip on. But in general, I am still in a wait and see pattern with baseball to kind of see what happens with the labor stuff. I don't want to over leverage on baseball and then the market tanks because of labor talks. But let's go ahead and dig into Tatis here. Topps Chrome auto, base auto. I almost tried to buy one of these at the Ship Shawana show, but couldn't close the deal. Topps Chrome refractor, X-fractor, pink refractor, prism refractor, and sapphire. Once again, kind of the same cards. I kind of kept this consistent as across the board as possible. The only one holding is the sapphire. I've watched a lot of these end of auction, and they do not dip at all, because I would love to dive in on a Tatis Sapphire dip, but it just is not there. And it's pretty spendy at 2.3K as is. Running down the list here, we see Prism Refractor down 10%, Pink Refractor down 10%, X Fractor down 20%, Base Refractor down 33%, and the Auto down 20%. This Auto at 1,500, the last one to sell, I would love to buy one at that comp. I cannot find someone willing to sell me one at that comp. Last I checked, there was one on my slabs at 1,800 sitting. That was about 2 weeks ago. I have not looked recently. But in general, Tatis's price is just getting whacked the hardest is surprising to me. The Base Refractor at around 500 is intriguing to me. The Prism Refractor, if that dipped a little bit more, actually I already have one of these. I got mine for about 700. The X Fractor price seems pretty cheap, sub 1,000, but this one at 500 is the most interesting to me, the base level refractor. We'll see where his stuff goes from here. Once again, I'm intrigued by this price, but I'm not running out to buy per se at around that price just because of the uncertainty of the baseball market, but we'll see what happens there. But once again, just very surprised by the red on Tatis's page. Let's look at Acuna. Once again, first Bowman auto. I went with BGS 9.5, PSA 10, PSA 9. Only a couple have sold. 4 BGS 9.5s have sold, and this card is way up. 35% increase, and one just recently sold on the 18th, so we have pretty decent data on that one. But nice run up on the Acuna Bowman Chrome. I'll be curious to see if he gets another little bounce. There was some highlights floating around of him just this week taking batting practice and looking pretty good doing it. Let's hop over to his main stuff. I did switch things up slightly here. I did include the bat down for him just because it's a short print paper, and a lot of people consider that as his primary go-to rookie card. And then once again, we have the Topps Chrome Auto, Refractor, X Fractor, Pink Refractor, and Prism Refractor, just like on all the other ones. His bat down is up 13% with a recent sale on the 17th, so that's pretty not too terrible. Rookie Auto, flat, but the last sale was October 20th, so it's been a month since one of those have sold. I'm just guessing no one is willing to sell at this price, so you're just not seeing it move, and buyers aren't willing to go up and get it at whatever the cheapest bins listed are. I'm just curious now, so we're going to take a little field trip here. 2,100, 1950. Yeah, 1950 is the cheapest one listed on eBay with not even a best offer option available. So last comp at 1,400, cheapest available at 1950. Probably somewhere in the middle, but obviously that one's not moving at 1950. Topps Chrome Refractor down very slightly at 4%. X Fractor down very slightly at 3%. Pink down very slightly at 3%. Prism Refractor down a ton at 43%. I don't know if this was just a really high sale to start things off, or if this was just an extra low sale. And actually, one is not sold in about 3 weeks on that one. That's been the longest date since one is sold on that. And I'm guessing good luck finding one for anywhere around that price. Usually there's a bigger gap between the Prism and the regular refractor than that percentage level. So the interesting thing here is that his first Bowman Auto is way up. His bat down is slightly up, but his Topps Chrome products are all down just slightly, other than the Prism Refractor. And once again, that's probably a case of good luck finding one at that price. So is there a weird little lag here on the rest of Acuna's stuff where the first Bowman and the bat down are kind of leading the way and slightly up, and we're going to see the other stuff rally up behind it? Or is it a win that this stuff is just staying flat? That I don't know. But I think Acuna is going to get a lot of buzz. I don't know when he's going to be ready, though, even though he was taking batting practice. Do we see him on opening day? I doubt it. Do we see him in spring training? Maybe. I don't know. I just don't know where he's at in his recovery yet. Moving right along, the heavy hitter of the group, Juan Soto, my personal favorite. Once again, first Bowman, PSA 10, PSA 9, BGS 9.5. Same time range, October 1st through today. We have recent sales on the PSA 10, PSA 9. No recent sales on a BGS 9.5. Been a little over almost 5 weeks since the last sale on that. PSA 10 up 22%. PSA 9 up 4%. BGS 9.5 up 7%, but a little bit of a gap there since the last one sold. PSA 9 and with a good auto seems like a pretty decent deal in that mid 2K to almost 3K range. Once again, this is kind of like a good luck finding one. This is a pretty low pop card. Even in PSA 10, it's pop 220. PSA 9 is 163. Not sure the BGS pop because BGS pop reports are nightmares. So Soto autos in general up. And once again, this is since the season ended. So we're a little past his I went absolutely crazy in the month of September. So we're not seeing like, all the crazy price spikes from that. It's cooled a little bit since then, but his stuff is holding strong. Of his regular-ish cards, not a lot of options here. We talk about this all the time. He just does not have a lot of good shiny, if you will, cards when it comes to his 2018 Topps update, because he was only an update. So you have update base and chrome base, but not a lot of variations that aren't numbered. Like the refractor is numbered out of 250, I believe, and sells for the prices of like Honda Civics. PSA 10 pink refractor, poster child card of the channel. Talked about this one a ton. One we haven't talked about as much, but just as equally rare and actually more rare, and probably just as good in regards to Soto refractor shiny style, is the rainbow foil from regular Topps update. Both these have done quite well as well since the end of the season. The rainbow refractor is up 64% from 800 to 1300, and the pink is up 36% from 810 to 1100. And I've seen a few of these sell at 1100 on eBay, and also the PWCC Premier Auction had a few go off at right around that number because I was watching them in case they went low to be able to jump in and put bids in on them. Rainbow refractors rainbow foil is an interesting one. I don't have one of these, but I'm going to put this on my radar. I wouldn't mind necessarily tracking one of these down as a person that's kind of really liking to get more Juan Soto in my life. I just really believe in him as a player long term. Dude is just ridiculous. So, but once again, with Soto, you just do not have a lot of options. That's why I still feel, and I'm going to put the rainbow foil in with it, that these two cards, if you truly believe in Soto long term, and you can't afford the auto of the Bowman Chrome, I think both of these are really good gets. Along with, I didn't pull the numbers for it, and once again, maybe I'm biased because I have one. I just feel like that Bowman's Best auto that I have is also very, very undervalued because it's a rookie on-card auto with Juan Soto. There's just not a lot of those, even though it is a Bowman's Best product. So Soto stuff, way up. Biggest winner of the offseason by far. And once again, he did end the season about as well as you could possibly end it. Last one of the more Topps Chrome era guys, and then we'll kind of look at a few other players. Ohtani didn't pull any first Bowman stuff for him because he doesn't really truly have a first Bowman. He's in that product, but it doesn't have the first Bowman logo on it, all that jazz. So I just skipped it. Rookie auto, refractor, pink refractor, prism refractor. Did I forget X-Fractor? I forgot X-Fractor. Sorry about that. And Sapphire. The only one up, Sapphire, up 24%. And this 2018 Sapphire is much lower pop than the other years. Like Vlad, for instance, is like pop 200 or 300 in this. And you can see Ohtani's only pop 81. And I'm going to guess there probably has not been a lot of those added to the pop report in the last 30 days, last 90 days. In the last 3 months, 2 have been added onto the pop report on the Sapphire. So that card's not exactly flying up the board. But that one's up 25%. Prism Refractor is down 10. Pink Refractor is down 20. His regular Refractor is down 35. And the auto has stayed flat, but only one has sold. Only popped 35 on that. And last one was 5 weeks ago, 10/14, so about 5 weeks ago on the auto for him. He just won the MVP award, basically saw no bounce because it was 100% baked into his prices. he's an interesting one in regards to what do you do with him. Um, Obviously, tons of risk involved there, but let me tell you something. If he comes out and remotely comes close to what he did this past season, next season, look out for what his prices will do. So Ohtani's one. I personally don't know what to do with him. I wouldn't mind getting into some Ohtani potentially on the cheap during the offseason. It's a little risky just because of the volatile nature of him. But color me intrigued because if he comes out and just starts smashing the ball again, who knows what'll go on with his prices. I mean, he went nuts this past season and has pulled back. But if he does it again, that's going to be absolutely unheard of. Looking at a few other different guys here. Let's look at Trout 2011 Topps Update. I'm not the biggest Trout guy in the world. I get it, but it's just kind of whatever. But I felt the need to look at the card just to kind of see what it's been doing since October 1st. Spoilers, nothing. This has basically been a 3K card, give or take 5% either direction since he got hurt, basically. We'll see what this does over the offseason and the next season. It would be nice if Trout could put together a full season healthy again, and if the Angels could actually be decent. And then I would be very curious to see what this card would do. This is either like a massive dark horse, sleeping giant, I guess is where I was going with that. If the Angels ever actually put it together, have a winning season, and get in the playoffs, this could potentially go nuts. If they just keep doing what they're doing, I'm just not sure what the long-term viability of this card is. I'm sure it's always going to hold value. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know. For me, with 3K, I would much, much rather have, and maybe this is just me going for the shiny new toy in the room. I would much rather have a PSA 9 Soto first Bowman Chrome Auto for the same price. And I don't even think it's close, personally. But once again, I'm just not a Trout guy. Curious for your thoughts and comments on that statement down below. What would you rather own? A Trout Update PSA 10 or a Soto First Bowman Chrome PSA 9 Auto? Maybe I'll run a poll on that one tomorrow. We'll see. Up next, a little prospect action, Wander Franco. Now, I am recording this the day that he signed his massive contract extension, so we will see if he gets a big price spike from signing that. But as of right now, just really quickly here, base Chrome prospect is down 20% since the end of the season. Mega Box is down 13% since the end of the season, and the auto is up 10% in a PSA 10. I just looked at PSA 10 on this one since the end of the season. Continuing on, Bobby Witt. Once again, just want to kind of get through these ones really fast here. First Bowman Chrome prospect down 20% since the end of the season, but the auto up 40% since the end of the season. So, first Bowman autos are getting a ton of run. We've seen it across every player that we've looked at, except for Tatis, where the first Bowman is getting a lot of respect in the marketplace, especially the popular guys. And then last but not least, I just wanted to pop in really quick, and I just ran them on the same page since they're from the same class. Bo Bichette and Lou Bob is kind of like the younger, I'm kind of still trendy, kind of prospecty. People kind of forgot about us, but we still have some hobby buzz. We could possibly break out next year and our prices would go nuts, or we could just be an above average MLB player and no one cares about us anymore. Kind of in that range. The general take here is Bo Bichette prices are pretty flat. Refractor 2% down, X-Fractor up 5, Pink Refractor down a ton. I'm guessing there's just a weird sale that happened to line up with the day that the charts ran. Prism Refractor down 1%. Lou Bob just taking a little bit of a harder hit here. Regular Refractor down 35%. X-Fractor down 10%. Pink Refractor down 15%. And Prism Refractor down 30%. So, once again, the big takeaway there is Bichette's market is relatively flat and Lou Bob's is down anywhere from 10 to 20%. So do what you will with that information. I'm intrigued by the Lou Bob dip. I have a couple of his stuff. I have a PSA 10 Refractor, I believe, and a PSA 10 Pink and a PSA 10 Prism Refractor, I believe, of his. I don't have any Bo Bichette. I wouldn't mind some. I'm always on the lookout for like a base refractor at like trade nights and stuff. I don't know that I want to run out and buy it. But he had a really nice season last year, and the Blue Jays are good. I mean, we'll see what they do over the offseason. But and Lou Bob, his stuff was really hot to start the season. And then everyone just kind of forgot about him because he got hurt, and he played pretty well when he came back. So I could easily see him getting buzz as well. And just given the price points, the thing with these guys is that you're getting in at a much cheaper price point level. So it gives you that room to spike up. For Tatis to spike up, a lot of things have to happen. For Bichette to go from a $100 refractor to a $200 refractor, he just needs to get hot in spring training or hot for like the first week of the season or get a little buzzy. And it's a lot easier for that card to double in price than it is for a Tatis refractor to double in price. So it's all about the expectation levels. And we see this all the time. The guys that don't have low expectations, that are lower priced, just have way more room to skyrocket up if you pick the right ones. But both these guys are pretty trendy and have a decent following. So I just feel like it wouldn't take much for them to spike. That's all I have for you guys and girls today. We will see where the baseball market goes from here because we're probably going to get the work stoppage next week. I believe it's December 1st. That's next Wednesday, exactly 1 week from today. So I'll be curious to see what does the baseball market look like come Christmas time. Kind of maybe run this back in a month and see for the last 30 days, where have these guys gone in price compared to everything else. The one general thing I will say, the baseball market over the last 60 days has held up a lot better than the basketball and football market. It is very stable, probably because they're not playing and everyone's just not in a holding pattern. There's not as much inventory hitting the market. You're really kind of forced to wait for auctions to get stuff at current comps. So the market is not flooded with sales right now. Most people don't want to sell baseball right now. So there's just a lack of supply on the market, which is probably helping prop up, I don't want to say prop up prices, but keep prices more level / to slightly going up. Just because people aren't willing to sell baseball in the offseason unless they absolutely have to. So curious for your thoughts and comments down below. As always, catch you guys and girls on the next one and have a very happy Thanksgiving. Peace.